Mercury is in retrograde.
It certainly is.
Have
here
you
today.
noticed? It's like everything is like helter-skelter, up and down, backwards.
Well, in addition to that, there have been what are those sun surges or
there was a sun surge.
Yes,
yeah.
where
Makes
it
it
just
even worse.
messes everything up, satellites and all of that. But StreamYard today, we could not come to you live like we always do, sadly.
Yes.
However,
we are here on Zoom with you today, so thank you for tuning in and watching this. And oh my God, I have so much to talk about. Let me just start with. We went to the opening of Sherry Vine's new television show.
At Industry.
The Sherry Vine variety show. It was so much fun to see everybody again and just hug moments. It was
absolutely glorious to be in the same room with old friends that we haven't seen since before the pandemic.
It was so cool.
It was great. It was really cool.
And the other cool thing, we had Frankie Sharp, who's opening up the Q Club in New York. He was our guest on the show last week. Well, he met us there. So like we went from virtual to in the flesh.
Yes, we were all hanging out together. It was very cool.
Virtual to in the flesh. So Tim, you had a very, very nice write-up this week by Nathan James.
I did.
In Medium.
Yes. Nathan James, who writes for NBC Out and Huffington Post and several other outlets, he does 30 Days of Pride, which starts on June 1st, and he selected me as the first day, which was so nice. And he did a complete write-up about me, and I was just very.
Do you know what he said? And ladies and gentlemen, this is a quote. He said, "Tim Moss is pride." That was like, that was powerful. Oh my God. And speaking of pride, this Sunday, for anybody that's watching, you can come see me perform with the Imperial Court at Stonewall.
I will be there.
And Tim is going to be there. And we're very excited. It's an open event through the Imperial Court. And we're all going to be doing different, I don't know if it's show tunes. I do parodies. I'm that kind of girl. And then Saturday night, you will get to see Tim and I in a tape show on Imperial Court TV, which is ICNY on YouTube. And Tim and I are doing a duet. The song is Something
it's very
Bad.
Special.
Tim is Miranda no, you're Carrie Underwood and
Underwood.
I'm Miranda Lambert.
Mm-hmm.
It's special.
Yeah.
That's the best we can tell you.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, I'm just rambling on here. I can't wait to talk to today's guest. First of all, one thing I have to say about Jon Butcher, the patience of a saint today with all of these technical difficulties. What a great guy. He's got a fabulous new album coming out. We can't wait to talk to him about Special Day. It's got 10 new tracks on it, which he calls Future Blues. And he said they're intense, trippy, and ferocious. I just love that word. Ferocious performances by some of the best musicians in the world. So let's bring him on. Yay!
Yes. Jon Butcher right here. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you guys?
Good.
Fabulous. And again, thank you so much for your patience today.
Patience of a saint.
Really. We all have to wrestle with technology at one time or another.
Thank you.
And today was one of those
but
days.
Coming from you're more technical, because you're a musician and you do make these videos and you have to deal with it much more than we do.
Oh, yeah, you would think so, but sooner or later you have to wrestle with the technology gremlins.
The gremlins.
Yes.
They're here. Yes. They're here, John. How are you so zen? You're very zen, very patient, very
I've been working on it all my life.
Yeah, I hear you.
No, really. I mean, it's the only way I found to navigate the 21st century is to find kind of your core and just like chill.
Yeah.
And I think that also comes just from life experience.
Right.
Maybe so. I mean, I see plenty of people who aren't in Zen. And so I'm trying to be a better human being is what I'm trying to be.
That's wonderful.
I totally love that.
I'm with you.
It's either that or be worn down.
Yeah.
That's your only choices.
I know.
Don't let it wear you down.
Yeah, because the thing I've found is everything comes from within.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sooner or later, you have to face you. And that's reflected almost always in every album I've ever done. It's always the conflict between me and the world I live in. So
Now I'm just curious. I just to open up your new album, Special Day, is being released now. So in my mind, you had to be creating this album during the pandemic.
That is exactly right. That's what I did on my pandemic vacation. It's about 13 months ago. I decided I was going to do something positive during this crazy time instead of just waiting for it to be over, right? So I did two things. I started a new album, and I also started a mini film and movie company called Watercolors. Yeah. And that became sort of the focus for the ensuing 12 or 13 months. And here I am on the other side of it. I'm really glad I did both things.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, but what kept you creatively going through a time when, we were like, well, you're out of Boston. We were shut down like within a week. All we were
here too.
In New York was this curve, right? And I don't know if you were good in math in school and graphs. I'm like, what the hell is this curve? And I was actually here at PANGEA like I think the night before they shut New York down, and there were a bunch of us watching a cabaret show here. And I'm a smart person, and I do understand pandemics. I've worked in parts of the world like Africa, where, I've dealt with malaria, Ebola, and all of that. But you know what, Jon? I couldn't wrap my head around this curve thing. And the next thing we knew, we were like, really, as performers, left with our pants down, literally. That's how I look at it.
You'll remember when this whole shebang started a little more than a year ago, we all kind of were waiting, well, a couple of weeks and it'll be done, or maybe a month and a half and we'll be past it. And as time went on, it began to be clear to everyone that this wasn't going to be a couple of month deal. So that it was going to be something that we had to kind of work our way through in the long haul. So I decided to try and turn that into lemonade somehow.
But it's not a somehow, like we love when people, I have to say, our show is inspirational. And I look at someone like you, look at what you did. Your performing opportunities went out the window during that time. And none of us knew what was going to be next. And they didn't tell us. We all knew when they were telling us to wash our hands that we were done. I at least did. I'm like, if that is the best that anyone could come up with, I'm done. So with your initial foray into going in to do this album, like what was the thought process behind it, and how did you talk to your other musicians on
the album? I kind of backed into. I knew I was going to do the film company because it was. I've been making my own videos now for a few years, and I knew this was something that I could do for other people if I had a chance. And that's what happened over the past year. My company has been making mini movies for people who are not only musicians, but poets and painters and others who are looking to get their message out and realize the only way to do that is with moving images, i.e. video. So I knew I was going to go there, but the album came later. Here's how it works. I went in to record a song, and that song turned into two. And I think, well, geez, I really like these. Maybe this would be an album someday. Time would go by, then two more. And when I looked at it, I began to see a pattern surfacing, right? And I realized that there was a voice was inside of me speaking through me, and it had to get out. And that's how it happened.
Wow. I love that inspiration, because you're just, again, rolling with your instincts.
Yeah. Like when also trying to keep positive. It's really, I know it sounds corny, but I can't emphasize enough how little positivity there is amongst some.
Yeah.
And I can't see how you move forward in anything you're trying to do being negative and with a storm cloud over your head.
So
I try and have a better attitude.
We're right on board with that attitude. And when we were out here freezing, when they couldn't let you inside restaurants and you had to sit outside, Tim froze me a couple of times. And so did a group of our other friends. And
we had a little pod.
Oh, nice.
And we just continue to work on our projects, because you know what other choice do we have?
Exactly.
Now you have a bunch of kick butt musicians on this. New album.
I've got some wonderful players. We were able to fully masked. We were able to record sessions and have it be safe and for the most part, free feeling. You know, the masking up was cumbersome, as you might imagine, but it was necessary at the time. And so all of these great players that I've been working with, from Lee Sklar to my present band, they're wonderful players, but they're wonderful human beings. And they bring positivity to the work and to the song.
Lee Sklar. He's been on the show, and I'm sure.
And he's my brother. And I love him like I love anyone who is close to me. And that's what matters. What I love most about Lee is he's a positive, easygoing, and good guy to be around. Yeah. He's not negative. He doesn't bring you down. Quite the contrary. He brings sessions up and makes it fun.
I was just going to say, and so you were all in the same room recording, right?
At different times. Sometimes I was there by myself. You know, I did a lot of recording alone.
Wow.
Because I'm able to do more than one thing in the studio, and I'm used to producing myself. But oftentimes there were musicians with us all being in the room. And like I said, we took precautions and we understood the gravity of and the seriousness of what we were doing while trying to have fun doing.
Absolutely. But don't you find that like these amazing artists, they come and just bring depth and also kind of their own influence to the
it's always that way, guys.
And just how you know, just kind of to sometimes take a step back and just let it happen, let everybody interpret their part or their role in it.
That's the most important thing. You know, unlike painting, music is a kind of a collaborative effort. You know, like filmmaking. You know, when you're working on a film, there are others involved, and there's a team of people that have to kind of get in sync and you know, to make the final product something you want to see. Same with music. When there's other musicians, they bring a piece of themselves, and they bring their energy, and that's why you want to be with them. So I think it starts with the humanity first and the music second.
So you would probably say, though, also it is important to be in the room with each other.
It is.
That is the thing that we miss the most about like stage work and audiences not having that and getting used to this as a medium. And we did, you know, we did a bunch of Zoom fun performing shows and all of that, but I'm still looking at a flat screen, you know.
I know.
We made John in a heartbeat. I would have you here next to me. We'd be having a beer or whatever beverage you desire.
Sure, you bet.
And we would just be, you know, chewing it out together. And that, for me, that's what I need to get back to the most.
Well, you know what? It's coming back, but it's not coming back all at once.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure you've noticed there's a lot of tentativeness with promoters and people who put on shows and ticket sellers. And so I think it's going to be a gradual process over the course of the summer. So we all get used to kind of like, is it okay to not have a mask on?
Right.
Is it okay for promoters to sell tickets? Is it okay for my agent to book a tour? That kind of a thing is going to take a little time, you know, for people to get used to.
Well, so many people, they're used to the isolating for the past year. And then all of a sudden to throw into like the middle of Madison Square Garden that's packed. No, it would just be too much. So it's a step by step.
It's step by step.
I'm also an entertainer myself. And the other night I performed for the Lower East Side Festival of the Arts here.
Oh, wonderful.
The first thing I said when I walked out was firstly I had a mask on and I said, I am happy to rip this sucker off. And then I said, what was that beautiful sound I just heard? Oh, it was applause I haven't heard for over a year.
Right.
And then they applauded again.
It's true.
Oh my God, it was so incredible. It felt so good to hear applause again.
Right.
I hope that we're back to a normal thing as our business used to be 15 months ago. I hope we get back to that soon. I think it'll take a little while, but I'm hoping it comes where we can kind of put this entire year in a rearview mirror, sort of.
We agree, but I think you both hit on something, the tentativeness of people. You said it, people that have been isolated for the whole year. I didn't really think about that because we were out. We had masks, but we really did whatever performing we could do. And we tried to make it as normal as possible. So I'm very much the Wendy I was before all this happened. But I noticed I was at an event this weekend, and I said to my husband, some of these people are acting weird. They're weird. Right. They're different. They're different than I remember them being. Just off.
Well, the thing is, because a lot of people are having to, they weren't out as much as we were, and they're having to reacclimate.
That's it.
To get back to society. So
that is exactly right. Reacclimate. I think
they're going through a whole process right now.
Well, it took us a long time. You know, as I mentioned, when the pandemic first started, we were all kind of waiting for it to be over in a few weeks. All of us were like thinking, well, you know, it's a little inconvenient. Maybe by April, everything will return to normal. And as time went on, you started to see it wasn't going to happen. So the reverse is true. We have to reacclimate to being normal again, and having our public relationships easy instead of confused and a little tentative.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I love and admire the fact that you took this opportunity, because a lot of people again went just
under a rock.
Totally. And what you did was you took this time to just maybe clear your mind and just refocus it on specific projects like your new album, which is coming out June 15th,
right?
Called Special Day. And watercolors, your company. That's so cool.
Why did you take the approach that you did? You know, you come from a music background, a rock background, a blues background. But your videos are they're not, you know, regular rock videos or music videos. They're extremely artistic. How did you end up finding that approach?
Oh, I'm so happy for you to ask me that. That's a compliment. Thank you.
Oh, you're.
I feel like I feel like I have something to say and something to offer beyond just, you know, playing guitar and singing and bobbing my head. I mean, there's more to it. And I've really tried to take an approach with the way I approach these videos as being more than, you know what I call them? I call them mini movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because to me, that's what they are. It's not just about the performance, but it's about the backstory, so to speak. And I hint at it. I mean, I don't spell it out, but I'm really happy that you noticed that. You made my day.
Well, you're a storyteller, and that, you know, that's way different than someone that creates a rock video. This is it's storytelling. It is an artistic piece of film. It could be in an independent film festival, which I love
that. I love that. I have always loved, Wendy, I've always loved film. Always. Even from as a child, I used to love to. It was elixir to go into the movies and smell the popcorn. You know, and I realized that I would have something to do with that for a long time. I didn't know how it would manifest, but I knew it was something I had to do, and it was something that would sustain me interest-wise. I'm still interested in making more and more films. So
you're still interested. The fact that you are still interested, we're still interested, and that, you know, what makes us as people curious. I have friends that are hanging up their toe shoes, and I don't know why. And there's not a day that goes by for both of us, and I get it for you too, that there's not something that turns me on. It's like, damn, I want to know more about it. People say, when do you sleep? Sleeping is such a waste, you know.
Yeah, you know what? You're so right. When we stop being curious, we stop living.
Yeah.
Oh, so absolutely true.
The thing that's at the root of all my music, all of the records that I've done, all the stuff that I've done, is a curiosity about what makes us tick as humans. And I didn't realize it really until this moment, that all of the things I've written, all of them have to do with human condition and what makes us tick. Right. And I find that the most fascinating.
And probably looking back on it, it's what you were going through as a human in different parts of your life as to how you interpret how your
exactly
music interprets that.
So I'm never at a loss for, you know, subject matter. You know, I know that some people go through writer's block, but that's never happened with me, because all I have to do is just filter out the noise and listen. And that works. You know, there's an inner voice that I have that kind of guides me, for better or worse. And I'm thinking we all have that. I know you two do.
Yeah.
And I think we all do. We just have to shut up long enough to listen to it.
It took me a long time, though, to understand that I had to filter out the voice,
that
because
noise.
in the entertainment industry, there's so much noise and there's so much judgment, and there's stuff that feels wrong to you, but somebody told you,
Yes,
you should be doing this and you should be doing that. It took me decades to evolve.
yeah,
I think
me
you
too.
evolved a lot sooner,
Mhm.
but I love where I am right now, and I can speak for all of us.
I love where we're all.
I
at.
want to hear how. I know you were born in Pennsylvania, but you grew up in Alaska.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, my dad worked for the government at an Air Force base at the time. He wasn't in the military, but he worked for the military. And so I grew up there as a kid in a very, very, very small community.
Wow.
I was in a one-room schoolhouse with
Wow.
3 grades in it.
Wow.
When I was when I was in elementary school. So that's what I knew. And I didn't realize the impact it would have on my nature until I became an adult. And I think what that had to do with it, not growing up in a city, but growing up in the middle of nowhere, kind of
I did too.
forced me to look at it, to appreciate and learn about my imagination.
Wow.
And to become curious about the expanding world around me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
Sarah
it does.
Palin said she could see Russia. Could you see Russia?
Yes.
Yeah.
I grew up in a small country town, country area in Indiana. So I can relate. We all, the community, we all knew each other. We grew up together. So I can relate to that, but it's also very human. In bigger cities, a lot of time, because I exposed myself to so many different aspects.
Sure.
I took advantage of that in a smaller community like that. Whereas in a bigger city, you have to choose one thing. Like you have to choose like to be a basketball player or to be a clarinet player, and you've got to pursue that, or a ballet dancer. You've got to pursue only that. I got to do all of that stuff.
Yeah, I thought I was
one
going to
of
be
the
a cowboy.
advantages of it.
I kind of thought I was going to be a cowboy when I was 7.
That's so cool.
I was going to ask you, what is it? But you know what? I thought about that. I read that about you. You are a cowboy.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, it's not the way you envisioned it, but yeah, you are a cowboy. The way, if you define what a cowboy is, the way you have rocked it out, lived your life, and what you're doing now.
Oh, I like you. That's great.
So when did you pick up a guitar for the first time and just go, oh yeah?
I have a picture of me in a little cowboy suit at 7 with a guitar instead of a gun.
That's so cool.
So I knew then there was something about this that was calling me. I didn't have any idea what it would turn into, but I knew it was calling me.
Wow.
But look, Tim, how many musicians that we've had on here have we heard that? It's the exact same thing. We're talking about your heart, your intuition, and passion, and it's almost like a prophecy. You see what's going to happen, and it's in the way you dress. It's in what you do, and then X amount of years later, boom, it explodes.
I think that's true. I think that seed was planted when I was in single digits, and it just blossomed the older I got. When I was I went to college in Boston, which is what brought me to Massachusetts. College.
Where did you go?
I went to a small 2-year communication school called Graham Junior College that specialized in TV production and TV and film. Because my mother thought, well, if the music doesn't work out, I'll have something to fall back on.
Right.
I know, huh? So of course, it was a pleasure of mine to have my mom at the Boston Garden sing me play. And I got a chance to say to her, well, I guess it worked out.
Yeah.
But little did I know that the TV stuff and film stuff was going to surface now. And it did.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious because I can see you when, again, first discovering a guitar where you just kind of go in and wait, I can make this sound on it. I can make that. Oh, wait, how do I do that? Do you remember that?
8, 9 years old. Yeah. 8 and 9. I was doing just what you described.
Uh-huh.
In fact, when I first heard the Beatles, I thought I was going to faint because that spoke to me in a way that was profound.
Uh-huh.
All of a sudden, the guitar, I had already been playing guitar, but when I saw TV footage, because we got it late in Alaska, it was already 4 or 5 years later.
Get
And
out.
when I saw that footage of the Beatles, I went, oh, you mean I can do this and people will throw jelly beans at me? And I knew then, I mean, that's for me. That looked like a good way to be.
And you
So
connected to it.
Yeah, and so then in Boston, did you form a band and?
Yeah, I did. You know, I was, as I said, I went to school here, and of course, as soon as I was finished college, instead of going back home, I stayed in Boston and hooked up with a few local guys, and before you knew it, I was in a local band that was playing places, and people came to see us, and that turned into getting on the radio, WBCN in Boston. And that kicked off everything.
Uh-huh.
And then that led to my first tour with the Jay Giles Band, who asked us to open for them during their big album, Freeze Frame.
Yeah.
So it was like incremental steps that all led to that moment. And I knew I was going to, I knew I was going to be in the entertainment business.
Yeah. Well, why don't we take a look at one of your videos right now? You're watching If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our incredible guest Jon Butcher. Just awesome dude.
Awesome dude.
So let's take a look at one of your videos now.
Let's do it.
America, land of the hustle and the too much money. Coming to America, you can leave your cares and troubles all behind. I'm crossing America, drive a new car if you got enough money. Rocking America, it's what the people do. And mama always said, I am the vessel, this is your special. This is your special. And mama always said, I am the vessel, this is your special. This is your special day. I'm driving west on a highway through the heartland. I took a left and got a ticket from the policeman. I told the jury, please don't take me from my family. And that's when the judge said, lock him up and throw the key. I'm a fighter, I'm a singer of the spoken word. I need free like the eagle and the hummingbird. I hope America's working toward a better day, and it'll be all right as long as we don't throw it all away. And everything will be all right. Everything will be all right. Yeah, yeah. Zabba-dabba-da, zabba-dabba-da. This is your special day.
All right. Okay. So that was Special Day, which is the title track of your new
Title
album
track of the record. Yep.
that is
Love it.
dropping June 15th.
Yes, sir. It is.
This is
Uh-huh.
like
And I can't wait. I'm looking forward to having people hear it. In fact, I can't wait to send you guys a copy and have you let me know what you think.
Oh,
I think you'll like it.
we can't
Uh-huh.
wait to have it. Now, you just said you performed this past week, right?
I did. I played at a place called Tupelo Hall in Derry, New Hampshire. and it was outside. We anticipated nice weather. It was May after all, May 29th.
Right.
And it was horrible weather, freezing cold. And I didn't think anybody would come, you know, and so I'm backstage saying to my tour manager, you know, I'm not sure this is going to work out. It's pouring rain, and wouldn't you know, it was packed. I couldn't believe my eyes.
Yeah.
So that's how much people are ready for things to return to normal.
They are starving to get back out.
Yeah, they are. I think so.
For live events. Yeah.
So great.
So backing up then. Yeah. So Jay Giles Band. So
yes.
Tell us a little bit about that period, because didn't that kind of launch you into another level? Like
it absolutely did.
Out on stage that first time.
You're a star.
Tim, listen to this. I was at home living with my bass player, Chris Martin, in Cambridge, Mass, shivering because the heat was turned off. We couldn't afford to buy heat that month. And it was December, and we got a call, the phone rang, and it was the Jay Giles representative who asked if we would be available to open 3 shows, including New Year's Eve at the Boston Garden with the band.
Oh, God.
Well, I didn't have to look at my schedule.
Yeah, right.
Okay. The heat was turned off.
Right.
I did not have to look at my schedule. So we did the 3 shows, and they were so successful, and people loved us so much, and the band embraced us, that we then did 70 city tour with them, which had me in gigantic arenas.
So incredible.
And domes and huge places that I would have never been able to play before.
Right.
And that was a step up right there. That tour, Peter Wolf, I owe him a debt, and the guys, I owe him a debt of gratitude. And I say it all the time. Without that opportunity, I don't know what the future would have been.
Yeah.
But isn't it funny how the universe will speak to us in that?
Yeah.
I mean, you were really at rock bottom. You didn't have heat. It had to be
no money, no food.
Right.
You know.
And
the phone rang.
Don't know what's going to happen by the weekend.
Right.
No, we did not. And the phone rang and changed everything.
Yeah.
I always say that. The phone can ring and change everything. And you know what, Jon? To this day, I totally believe that.
So
me too. I totally believe it. And I'll tell you, Wendy, I think it's important that we all embrace that. Mm-hmm. The phone can ring for you at any moment. Being down or negative or depressed or scared or fear oriented is not helpful. Right. It won't get you out of the situation you're in. No, it just makes you feel bad until the phone rings the next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you also have to be there to answer it.
Yes. I like that.
You have to be present. You have to be available, and you have
absolutely true.
And you have to be open to these opportunities. Yeah.
Well, we were open. Again, the heat was off.
Right.
And so we didn't have anywhere to be.
Yes. So can you tell me about the first time you walked out on a stage with just a packed stadium, and what that felt like? What was that moment like for you?
I was about to go on the stage of the Boston Garden, which was 12,000 seats, right?
Oh my!
And Peter Wolf came into our dressing room before we were about to do our first show, and I was scared to death. What if they hated me? What if they threw things? I mean, I don't know.
What if they throw things?
Right.
And he came in and said, "Don't worry, hit him hard and fast, and don't worry about a thing. You'll be great." And I took those words to the stage, and when we walked out, and I looked, I can't even describe looking around at 12,000 people at once. And I think I yelled, "Hey!"
Yes! Let it out.
Everybody yelled, "Hey!" back. Yes! 12,000 people. And I knew in that moment it was going to be all right.
Yes.
And it was.
You spoke their language.
Yeah.
Spoke it back.
Yeah, it was great. It was one of the best moments of my life. It's still, I can relive it to this day.
You just shared it with us.
Yeah,
I could feel it. I could feel that moment that you had.
I just screamed. you know, and it seemed to be, they understood somehow. So
yeah. Well, they're there to be excited and to stimulate it, and they could feel your excitement.
I'll say.
And
I'm not sure my feet ever touched the stage.
Yeah.
I don't remember the show at all. All I can remember was the first moment and then the end of the show where everybody screamed and loved this. And I went, wow.
Yes.
More of this, please.
Yes, exactly.
No, I'm curious. Your music is a mix of so many genres: rock, rhythm, and blues, funk, soul, jazz, Americana. From where has all this come together? What's the basis behind it?
This has been both the blessing and some would say the bane of my existence. Because I have never made a record that was one thing. I always had more than one idea to express. And the, you know, the artists that I liked in rock were like Peter Gabriel. And he was amazing at bucking, being boxed in. There was no way Peter Gabriel or Jimi Hendrix, for that matter, was boxed in. For every Purple Haze that Jimmy did, there was a Little Wing and something that went totally counter to what you heard before. So I was attracted to that. I thought that was a cool way to be an artist and to not be pigeonholed. And so my early records were a little frustrating because I think the record company wanted me to be the next Jimi Hendrix. And I just wasn't. I wasn't.
They were comparing you to Hendrix.
Yeah, and it was good and bad. You know, the good part is I got seen by a lot of people who were interested to know what the next Jimi Hendrix might look like.
Yeah.
But when they saw me, they found out quickly that that wasn't what I did. I did rock. I was able to play guitar, but there's nuance there. Yeah. And I think that nuance is important. It certainly has shaped me as a human being.
Yeah, because like Special Day, the video that we watched earlier, I could feel a reggae.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And it's all legal to me. You know, it's all sort of where there used to be sort of what I liked about early radio, terrestrial radio back in the day, was that you could hear the Doors 1 minute, then the Mamas and the Papas, then James Taylor, then the Rolling Stones, and then Sly and the Family Stone.
Yeah.
Now, what do those acts have to do with each other? Well, nothing. They're just music in the general idiom called rock or pop. And within that idiom, there's lots of different flavors. Well, I like that.
I do too.
I do too. Believe me, I'm a soul brother with you here.
I feel
because I do so many different genres.
Sure.
And so many people, because so much of the industry now is you've got to be not only say R&B, but this little corner of R&B, and they expect you to do only that sound.
One of the best things about
like all over the place.
Absolutely.
But you're talking about in the music industry, Jon, a very diverse time. If we go back to like this late 60s into the 70s, right?
Sure.
Think about what politically was going on in the country.
Oh yeah.
Music totally reflects what is politically going on around us. Always has been. You think of what that time was and the diversity of the kinds of music at that time. And it was, I love that you said that you love the Beatles. So many musicians as little kids, as we hear that from them. I remember when they were on the Ed Sullivan show, they were like, I don't think I've ever seen anything as new, if you can believe that, since then.
It's like, it was life-changing for us.
Yeah.
It changed my life in the span of 3 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
After I saw what I saw, I knew I would never be the same. I knew it.
I love hearing that. That's exactly
it was completely outside the box. It was completely different, new, fresh sound. It was and that's, I think, what is lacking is they've just explored so many in the industry. They've just explored so many different genres, and they have to have a name and a label and this and that for everything that they just don't allow. Just be free, like you.
Just be free to express. And you know what? Someone, I can't remember who told me this, but someone once told me, make good music and it'll find the people who love it.
Yeah.
But
I believe it. Make good music, it'll find the people who will love it.
You're talking about the performance you just did a week ago in horrible weather, and it was packed.
Yes.
Okay, they were there to see you and what you had to bring to the party. But you're also talking about live music versus so much now, you know, because it's digital. We have a totally different landscape than the
I
landscape
know.
we're talking about, and it has affected things. I feel not always for the better. And you can't, you know, you named artists that were allowed to shine. How does someone shine now? How do you get through the muck and the mire and all the nonsense
and the auto tune?
Yeah,
and I try and ignore the auto tune.
Me
I
too.
try to.
I never use it, live or recorded.
Nowadays, I think while it's not like what it used to be, in some ways it's better, because I have a direct conduit now to people, say, who live in Japan or that live in the USSR or wherever.
Conduit.
Yes, I'm able to market to those people around the world. I'm able to get my product to them. They're able to see my YouTube videos. So that's better, you know, for someone like me who is somewhat diverse in terms of style. It's better for me to have that sort of connection that's direct, instead of through what used to be the record company and the radio station.
Right.
That's
And
changed.
live performances. Yeah.
Right. Exactly right.
Well, what you just said is that diversity that you have and how you play is now something that is global. And you can hit markets, and this is true. You can hit markets you could have never hit those markets before.
Exactly. Or, you know, when I used to tour back in the 80s and 90s, I'd have to go to London in order to expose my new record to people who live there in the UK. I'd have to go there. I don't have to do that now. I still want to as an adjunct to releasing music, but it's not necessary, since I have all of these other platforms that I can use in order to reach people.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, you're watching If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our just amazing, amazing guest, Jon Butcher. I mean, you're so amazing on so many different levels.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy you had me, guys.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, what we have been through in this past year with the pandemic, I have a feeling that the creativity is going to explode.
Oh yeah,
explode.
I think you're right.
So looking forward to all of the genres and the sounds and the feels and the artistic expressions that are going to happen.
All of my colleagues, all of my music making colleagues are all doing the same thing. We're all using this time that we were down to create new music and new art. And now comes the time where hopefully we can begin to expose it to people in the world.
Right. Well, they say it's going to be like the Roaring 20s now. Right? I tell you what I found so funny. We adore Leland. His reinvention during this, and you're right, he's so chill. He has 2 basset hounds, of course he does, right? His thing on YouTube is just he's in front of that computer in the same, and that is something that just happened and evolved for him, right?
Right.
Wasn't planned, just did it. That was his response. And it's brilliant. It's just completely taken off.
I have watched Leland blossom as a technocrat. Listen to this story. I was on a tour bus with him with Barefoot Servants when we were both in the Barefoot Servants band. And I remember him getting an iPhone for the first time and trying to really kind of figure out, wow, this is pretty cool. And I can go direct and Facebook, look at this. And now look at it. He's Mr. Multimedia.
Yeah. It's great.
And I hope he sees this so I can tease him.
I want to make sure of that too. I know it's great, but listen, we've all been forced to become something else. And you know what? Maybe that's what had to be. Maybe drumming along, singing a song wasn't going to happen anymore. Everybody says, this was a wake-up call for the world. Some people got woke. Some people didn't get woke. They didn't.
Right.
And we're in a different political landscape now.
Oh, yes.
I think that will be a lot more supportive for creative people, for all of us to do our thing going forward now.
I hope that's true. You're right about the landscape being completely changed over the past 13 months in every way. Unfortunately, we still have to deal with things like income inequality and a tenuous relationship with police, especially those who live in cities.
Yep.
But these things are, it reminds me kind of like of the turmoil of the 60s. It's not that much different.
Yeah, I find it.
Total parallel.
Yeah, I agree with Tim. It's a total parallel, and my personal feelings, I'm hoping going forward, this administration, because you did bring up what's going on with the police.
Sure.
We've had a whole thing here in New York, defund the police. Now we're having Pride. No one wants police at Pride. However, I will give you the other side of the coin. I grew up in the Bronx, and my neighborhood was good, but we had issues. And you know what? We need education programs for our law enforcement, okay? Because we need a different way of dealing. Because what has come down the pike now was horrible and not.
Yeah, I think so. I think these are the giant issues of our time that I'm hoping. Look, I'm hoping we get to hang on to our democracy. I really hope so.
I agree.
Over the last few months, since January 6th, that's come into doubt. And so I'm hoping that we're able to hang on to what's good about America and get better and improve these things and work on these problems that need to be worked on.
Right. You can't sweep them under the rug.
No, not anymore. I don't think so.
Absolutely.
This thing with the hacking, now they hacked into the meat industry. That's really scary to me. Oh, we're talking about technology. That's like huge technology.
I know, but hey, welcome to the world we live in.
Right.
The good news about the internet is also the bad news.
Right.
The wonderful thing about having these communication platforms is also the bad thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's balance that we're after, right? And that's something.
Right.
That's something we have to find. We have to find balance.
And in actuality, that's the way the universe is and has always been, is people's perception. Yeah. If you're looking at it through a positive aspect, it will be a good thing. But if you're looking negatively, it can be used for bad.
Right.
Exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. How do you think as a musician, you can affect the world going forward? What do you think you can bring to the party?
I don't know, Wendy. I'm not sure that I can, quote unquote, affect the world. I don't know. I know that I can affect my world, my universe.
Right.
I know that if I've always looked at it this way. You change the world one person at a time. That's the way things really change.
Absolutely.
They don't change in big sound bites or grand gestures or me standing on a soapbox talking about peace. Not really. They change in more organic ways. And I'm hoping that everybody I come in contact with, I leave some of me behind in a way that's positive. And that's my way of this interview with you two is my way of changing the world.
Cool. Yeah. Well, we feel the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of things on that note. One is the way that you can change the world is just continue doing what you're doing, which is just be your authentic self.
Couldn't agree with you more.
And also, I have discovered, again, doing inner work, that I can't change anybody. The only thing I can change and the only one I can change is me.
Right.
And that might help to change others as well. So again,
I'm hoping that that's true. And that's the way I live my life. I'm trying to live be my own authentic self and trying to find my own peace and be comfortable in my own skin.
Do you see as a communication going forward, the watercolors videos, working with all these artists? I'm thinking about that and the fact that you do that is certainly a way to change one human being at a time by that product. Forgive me for calling it a product, but it is a product.
Yeah.
Having such a great product out there that's different.
I'm hoping so. If you guys get a chance, there's another YouTube video from this record called Devil's Train.
Oh, I know. That's the one I think that is the one today that I.
Is that the one they Okay.
Well, we were, yeah, that was one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There were
okay.
two, but I think it was Devil's Train. I saw one and I don't have it written down. And then there was another one and I wrote to Chauncey and I said, oh, I think we should maybe go with this one. That was amazing.
Right. I'm hoping that I can, you know, communicate my feeling about the world and life through that visual art, through watercolors. I'm hoping that I can. I'm trying to anyway.
Yes, I love it.
At least you're trying.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's all we can do in this life. But you're watching If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our wonderful, wonderful guest, the very spiritually centered Jon Butcher.
And we are live at PANGEA today.
Yes.
We are on 2nd Avenue between 11th and 12th Street. They are opening up their cabaret room. We've got live entertainment here now. The front of it's open. And
I'm going to be
June 20th.
performing here June
Fantastic.
20th on Sunday.
It is. It's
Sunday
so
night.
Great. Sunday night,
But
June 20th.
Yeah, PANGEA, the reason that we're so, that we've done this for PANGEA is that PANGEA has been there for the artistic community and has done so much here in the East Village that when the pandemic hit and they were struggling, we wanted to do what we could to try to help them out. It was
Guys, I'm so happy to be here with you both today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for allowing me to come on.
Absolutely. Now, also, let's tell how people can find out more about Jon Butcher. Is go to jonbutcher.com.
jonbutcher.com, or they can go, of course, to my Facebook page, Jon Butcher.
Right.
First name is Jon.
Jon, no H in John. Yep. I have a new record coming out in June 15th. And I have a page at Facebook dedicated to my movie stuff called Watercolors. So please look for me. I'm easy to find on the internets.
I gotta say, you are easy to find. Some people, some very well-known people, are not so easy to find.
If you Google me, there'll be more info than you ever wanted to see.
You know that there's other Jon Butchers. You know you're not the only one.
Oh dear. Well, we'll have to do something about that.
You're not the only one. I'm like, wait a minute, this guy's not a musician.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
And thank you very much. I hope to talk to you again.
And today, oh, most definitely. And today has been exactly what the title of his new album is called, which is A Special Day.
Yay.
Thank you very much, Jon.
Thank you.
And
Bye.
thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Have a good day, guys.
You too.
Bye now.
Don't go anywhere. We always take a picture.
We are clear.
Yeah, Tym always takes a picture.
Let me finish the recording. Well, I'll finish that afterwards. So let me go.
How do we do the picture on
where
Zoom?
was it? There was full screen. I'm looking for full screen.
Thank you so much, Jon. This was really
It was fun. I really enjoyed myself.
Good.
Well, what we'll do is I'll take the picture and then we'll edit it down.
Let's do it.
All right. So I'll do it twice. I'll take a couple pictures. Okay, ready? And let's take one more. 1, 2, 3.
Cool.
Perfect.
Oh my God,
Ellen,
Jon, this was amazing.
Thank you.
I'm glad. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm so happy I got a chance to meet you both. I'm hoping that we can meet each other in person.
Absolutely.
When I come to the city next.
That's our plan.
And believe me, I am also open and looking down the line of working together.
Yeah.
I would love it.
Watercolors, with performing. I'm also working with a new network that's starting out, which is UBC TV.
Oh.
And one channel that we're going to be doing is we're going to have a music video channel.
How cool is that?
Oh, listen, you have my contact info, Tym.
Yeah, so with watercolors, with your music, with all of that, like
I would love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tym. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank
so
you.
welcome.
This
Bye, guys.
great.
Jon.
And thank you for all your patience.
Yeah,
today.
really.
All right.
Have
Have a good day.
fun.
All right. Bye-bye.